Hey gang, welcome to my vlog for September, the end of September of 2021. In this vlog I'm going to talk about the arrival of the new restyled RXB250. So I'm filming this on September 25th, and this past week the ship from China arrived in the port at Texas. So I'm assuming that they'll move the bikes from the port over to the shop and start working on them in this coming week, which would be the last week of September, first week of October 2021. I can only tell you, everybody's been waiting for them, that it's the world and not Orion. It's not anything that the supplier or Orion did wrong. It's just the world that we live in right now with COVID. There's been so many stoppages at the ports and so many shipping problems that it took much longer to get these out, even though they had redesigned it, planned it, put in the order with the supplier. It seems like we've been waiting for these things forever. But the good news is they're getting processed this coming week, and the orders will start shipping out. I can only tell you from my experience when I ordered mine a couple years back, from the time they got it into the shop, it took 8 days to ship to me from Texas to North Carolina. So everybody's different, don't hold me to that, but I would say, on average, you got to give them time to process. They'll start shipping to people probably 8 to 10 days, including shipping time to get to you. So within the next couple of weeks, middle of October, a majority of them will be done and have already been in the process of shipping out. So for anybody who's new, you're just finding my video about the bike, about this Orion RXB250. I'm going to go over some things that make them kind of different than past models. Some of you guys already know all this, but we'll just kind of touch on some of the more important things. The engine size is 249 cc's, a true 250. They made it a 6-speed now, and it has a counterbalancer to kind of help with vibration in the engine. It's going to come with a 30mm Nibby carburetor, a regular carb, no fuel injection, just a regular carburetor. You're going to have to jet it, get a jetting kit and get the right main and pilot jet. So for those of you who have no knowledge, you might want to look that up. You might want to start thinking about, okay, if I'm going to buy this bike, I need to know about how to jet a motorcycle, how to jet a carburetor. It's all out there on YouTube and Google. You can find it. We'll start helping. Once people start getting them, we'll start putting specs out in my group, the Orion RXB 230 and 250 owners group. You can find that on Facebook. Other changes that for this model, this newer model, is it has brand new style plastic. It's kind of interesting. I actually like the style of it. It's kind of, the back half kind of looks like a GPX 250S, the smaller version of their bike, but it comes kind of also looks like a Husky. The front part of it is, I don't even know. the radiator shrouds, which it does, this is an air-cooled bike, doesn't have radiator, but it does have the shrouds that go like in that position. They kind of look like Honda to me, but yeah, I think they're going to end up being not anybody's. I think we're going to have to, if you're going to need new plastic, I think you may end up having to get it from Orion direct. The front fender, the same thing. I don't think it kind of matches anything else that I could find when I was looking for it. The forks are a little bit smaller than past versions. The actual inner tubes that slide up and down. Not a big proponent of that. I've never hidden that with you guys. I kind of think that's a bad design choice on Orion's part to go with those. But until someone has them and you get into them, start digging into them, and you know, I'll refrain a little bit of judgment on that. They may be okay. I wouldn't say that they're for off-road, but we'll see what people think about that. The frame itself is made out of a stronger steel, so it's kind of halfway in between what they were doing before and full chrome moly. I think it's rated at 375, somewhere in that neighborhood, and previous versions were down in the 160s or 180s. So you know, it's a good thing. They're definitely made the frame material stronger. I always hedge that with how you weld it, how you triangulate the head stay, in other areas too, like where the shocks mount. But in general, I'm pretty confident this frame is going to be stronger, which is a good thing. That, you know, they addressed an issue. The wheels are aluminum. I've been told. So I know we've been, in the past they've had both. They've had steel and aluminum, but in most recent models they've had aluminum rims with cast aluminum hubs. And I'm going to go with that again. I've heard that's the case. You know, cast is a little bit harder, a little bit heavier than the CNC, the true CNC of a aluminum billet hub, but at this price point, you know, that's a quality build still. The spokes I still believe are small. I don't know why Orion won't beef up the spokes. It's probably a cost issue, but so when you get one, first thing I'm going to suggest that you do, which I've been telling everybody lately, go through and tighten up all your spokes. There's YouTube videos on how to do it. You don't just tighten one after the other after the other. There's a pattern to it. So you tighten one, you skip two, you tighten the fourth, and you go all the way around. You do that 3 times. You skip to the next spoke after you've made a complete revolution. Look it up on YouTube. It's not anything that anyone can't do. It's totally doable, and you should do it right from the beginning. I learned my lesson. I ruined my rims from it. Even though I did tighten them, I didn't do a good enough job. Also, with this new bike, they're gonna have passenger foot pegs in the back. The air filter air box, I'm not liking that design too much, but it's gonna have a paper air filter from the start. But for those of you in the know, Joe Hinner Motorsports will be obviously still interested in this motorcycle, be getting one and be working on it right from the get-go. As soon as he gets one, he already has a bunch of upgrades for it, and I think he's already addressed the issue of he's going to try to come up with something to change out the to do something to kind of modify that airbox, hopefully to get more flow, but at the very least to get a foam air filter in there for anybody who does off-road, because you know, if you get any moisture in a paper air filter, it's total crap. So be looking for that. Joe has a big bore kit, has a 4-degree timing advanced key already existing. He has a cam already existing. So if you want to modify your brand new bike, if you want to go ahead and modify it, I'd reach out to Joe Hinner through Facebook at Hinner Motorsports, and Joe Hinner you can find him in my group. Again, that's the Orion RXB230 and 250 owners group in Facebook groups. Getting back to the bike, the seat height is a little bit lower. It has a new seat that's more level front to back. It's thinner, but kind of like similar to KTM's and Huskies. And then you got all the other things that kind of, make Orion okay for a price point bike. I mean, if any negatives, if you feel that I have negatives about Orion in general, obviously that's not the case. I've been propping them up since I bought one. I do change out a lot of things, and I do point out, I'm honest about the things that can be upgraded. That doesn't necessarily mean that when you start out it was bad or that you need to do those upgrades. But anyways, so it's got a good throttle. It's got good levers. Actually, this time they come with breakaway levers, so they bend backwards so that they don't break. Let's see, trying to think of all these things. Oh, a new larger gas tank. I think it's up to 2.8 or close to 3 gallons. So for those of you who really need the big tanks, that's that's nice to have. Yeah, I think that's about it. I've heard rumors both ways on the swing arm, if it was aluminum or not. So when you guys get one, stick a magnet on it. Let everybody in the group know. I kind of think it'd be hard for them to offer it at the price point that they're offering it with an aluminum swing arm. So I'm thinking it's not. But hey, man, surprise me. Let me know. Let me know what it is. And so I think that's it. You could talk about what this bike is going to kind of be like. I think a lot of people in our group have kind of gone to the commuter kind of adventure bike type people, and less hardcore off-road or motocross. Motocross ain't even designed for that. So let's just knock that out right off the bat. Any of these Orions have never been designed for that, and what you see that I have done is, because I just wanted to test the limits. I like tinkering, and excuse me, it had the basic design to be okay, and I just fixed it up from there. But what I see more are people getting the bikes, previous versions, getting them, and getting the L model, which was the on off-road enduro kind of street legal with the mirrors and turn signals, and able to be plated, and kind of doing there's a couple people who have did the supermoto wheels on them, make them smaller wheels, make them more for the road, gear them up real high so that they could cruise. And I think this model is going to be for that really good. I do believe they even come with you can get them with a rack, a metal rack, to hold a gear bag or something in the back, over the back fender. Passenger pegs, like I mentioned before, headlight, mirrors, turn signals, all that, if you buy it in that way. I think having a 6th gear will kind of help. I don't think it's like a great improvement, but for riding on the street, it'll be kind of like an overdrive. If you gear it low, you should be able to cruise. I'm gonna say you can cruise easily 55, 65 if you gear it that way. And with a 6th gear, kind of works like an overdrive, so it lets you cruise at that higher RPM, at that higher speed, without taxing the engine so much with the RPMs. So I mean, that's kind of a good thing if you like that, and that's what you're looking for with this bike. I think that's all right. Counterbalancer, again, kind of helps with vibration. A bigger help would be tires. I would tell anybody to switch the tires day one. I don't think the original tires are good for any purpose. I don't think they're good for off-road. I don't think they're good for the street at all. Obviously, knobbies are not good for the street. they have, excuse me, the sidewalls aren't that great, and I think that contributed to when people were off-road getting dents in their rims, you know, by not having higher quality tires. So if you're going to go off-road, I'm definitely going to tell you, change out your tubes, get thicker tubes, and get true off-road tires. Shinko makes really good ones for inexpensive, so I would lean you towards that way. Some of the other things I've learned with these bikes, you know, always keep your air filter clean. You know, even if you change it to a foam, if that option comes up, keep your air filter clean. It helps with your jetting. I change out my oil more often than I do any other bike I've ever owned. I think that's a good thing to do. I don't think it's bad. I want to say, you know, I won't say mileage because I don't ride miles, but I go now I'm changing it out about every third ride of, like, I ride motos, so every third outing I'm changing my oil. Equivalent to miles, I would say probably, you know, wouldn't hurt you to change it every 200-300 miles for sure. Let's see, obviously go over your bike often, you know, adjust your chain, change out your chain. You know, I went with a DID right from the beginning, standard. I don't think you need to go with an O-ring chain. It's more drag on the engine. I don't think these bikes produce that number of horsepower that it's advantageous to have an O-ring, but you can do it if you want. I mean, obviously everyone has their opinion. Another thing I learned is fuel. I just learned this the other day. I have been running race fuel when I can get it, but it's been hard to get. When I couldn't get it, I ran 94 E10, which is up to 10% ethanol. And in my experience, I drained the float bowl and tried not to have a lot of fuel sitting. But what I found as a good solution, it was suggested to me in my group, and Joe Hinner kind of used it too, and we talked it over. If you can find 90 octane non-ethanol and go to an O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto Parts has it, O'Reilly's has it, Napa sometimes has it. It's called, you can buy a bottle of VP Racing Octanium, it's called. And what it does is it raises your, you mix it with the gas, and it can raise your octane up to a total of 8 points. Sorry, 8 octane. Points is different. 8 octane. So, essentially, if you're buying 90 non-ethanol and you mix it the way they suggest, you can go up to 98 octane. But having spoken, Joe had spoke to VP about it, and he was noticing the color of his the coloring on his spark plug after checking it, running it at that higher amount. They told him to back it down a little bit, the mixture. So I'm running 8 ounces in 5 gallons. It's not the recommended on the bottle. It's less, and that brings it to about 93, 94 octane. So I'm trying that this weekend. I think that's going to be the scenario that will work out. I suggest other people take a look at that. You want to have the better fuel for your bike, and you don't want ethanol. Ethanol is very bad for your jets, and it can dry out your fuel lines. It's bad for. There's these little seals inside your carburetor too, that it will dry them out. And supposedly, from what I've read, ethanol introduces water into your system, which can obviously be corrosive, which you don't want any part of that. So definitely watch your watch for non-ethanol fuel, but you also want to get higher octane. 90 is the very minimum. You know, if you can find 90 non-ethanol and you haven't done any mods, I would say, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. But if you've done any mods, you want to be higher octane than that. So that was the answer for that. It's called VP Racing Octanium, and it's about $22 for a 32-ounce can. And depending on how you mix it, you know, you can by their standard, you know, if you want to go, if you use 98 octane, you go all the way race gas, it'll treat 10 gallons. If you do it the way I said, 8 ounces to 5 gallons, excuse me, you'll get a lower octane rating, but you know, that bottle will last you longer. So upgrades for me recently. The newest thing I'm going out today, I'm going to Chad Reed's Moto 40 MX Park in Statesville, North Carolina. For those of you who live in North Carolina, I suggest you give this place a chance. It's pretty cool. I didn't like it at first. It's clay based, and in the beginning, the first couple times I went there, it was very rocky, very slick. But they bought more machinery. They bought implements, they're called, that turn up the soil, dig it deeper. They've cleaned out a lot of the rocks. They've built a intermediate track. That's what I race on, or ride on, sorry. I don't race anymore. I don't need the added stress of racing, but yeah, so they redesigned this intermediate track, and I've got some videos of it out there. It's pretty damn cool. It's definitely it's not on par with North Carolina Motorsports Park as far as the size of the jumps and everything, but North Carolina Motorsports Park is a real track, you know, and they do have an advanced track at Chad Reed's if you're of that caliber. I stay off of it because it usually generates very deep ruts, and a couple of the jumps are just too darn big for my Orion, my modified Orion. It's not that I couldn't clear them, it's the landing, all the weight. You know, my bike is approximately 240, 245. I'm pushing over 200 now. This COVID has killed me. I've put on so much weight. So, you know, jumping a, let's say 60, 70 foot tabletop, you know, it's doable. You can downside it and land it good if you get a good run. My bike has a little bit of, I have to have a good long run to go that far. So that's why I stay on the intermediate track. The intermediate track has smaller jumps, tabletops, rounded off doubles. It's not at all challenging when it comes to that kind of scenario for pressing the bike and clearing. So anyways, I'm heading out over there. That's what I'm doing now. I'm on my way. I'm driving. 2-hour trip for me from my home. Nice track, good facility, good people. Every so often you'll run into Chad and his kids out there. His son Tate is pretty quick. He's blew by me a couple times on his little 85. And it's just fun. It's fun to hang out at that place. I kind of like it. Work-wise on the bike, nothing too new except this past couple weeks. I changed the rear brake lever. I got a brake lever that fits a 2015 KTM 250 SX, SXF, however you want to call it. All of them are the same. I got it from JFG Racing off of Amazon. It has a folding tip, and it is the forged aluminum, but to make it work was a total pain in the ass. I had to drill the frame where the reservoir mates up to the frame, and I had to drill the holes so I had to relocate the reservoir and tilt it towards the front of the bike just to make it work. There's a thread that goes down to a clevis where it meets the actual pedal. I had to cut that threaded where the clevis connects. I had to cut the threads down so that it would line up with the holes on the new brake lever. So it was all or nothing. Once I cut that, it would never work with the old lever again. So I had to do that. I got it to where it would line up. I had to buy a new bolt, a longer bolt. I had to make spacer in between the clevis and the plunger for the reservoir. Had to relocate the spring, how it connects, the return spring. And I had to bend the lever out just a tad bit. It actually tops out touching what used to be the kick gear, the spline where the kick start comes out. It kind of, actually, that's a stop where it tops out, so it kind of doesn't go any higher than that anyways. I don't know that I would suggest this for somebody who doesn't have any mechanical ability, but the lever itself is much stronger. I tacoed my lever a bazillion times now, and even when I put a brake snake to it, it still would, because I had bent it so many times. I don't think it's a design problem. I just think it's something that I had done to it before I put the brake snake on it. But after a day of riding, it would still start to bend downward, even with that brake snake. So it wouldn't necessarily go out and bend, but it would be going down. So that's why I switched to that new brake lever. So I'm going to try that out today. I think it should be no problem. It's super, super strong, and having the flex tip is really quite cool. And just bling factor, it's orange, black and orange. So, alright, so guys, I rambled enough. You guys who get these new bikes, please start letting us know about them. Obviously, we want to know what they feel like, how the power is, what you think of them overall, the build quality. Let us know. I'm very curious about the height and size of it. In my mind, it seems a little smaller than the other ones, but you guys would have to let me know. I want to reserve judgment. I don't know for sure. And hopefully it's full size, big full size bike. But that's it, guys. Peace out. Catch you next time.